What's up, guys? I got a question from the worm fertilizer people. They said, do you have any insights on ROI estimates with these options? Basically, they want to know, how do we figure out what our ROI can be from you making edits to our website? I sent a proposal to them over Loom yesterday or the day before, saying like, hey, here are the options for what I can do for your website. And I gave them 3 different options, kind of like a good, better, best, of some ways that I can help them out, and the reasoning behind why they may go with one option over another, what I thought would be best for them. And she's like, okay, like what's kind of like, what do you think the ROI is going to be on some of these options? And so then I just shot a video sharing essentially how to calculate their ROI from their marketing and from their business, what their website does right now, etc. For me, it feels very basic, but I realize that this type of conversation, this thinking is foreign for a lot of people, and can be pretty analytical and mathy. And so I just shot him a video of how I would think through it. So I want to show that to you guys. There's parts of it that I'm going to clip out because I show some things that I've made for other people that I'm still working on that I'll let you guys know about soon, which is exciting. But yeah, so I'm going to show that to you now.
Hey, Angela. Okay, so this is what I would think through for ROI estimates. I'm sure you guys are great with them and have the capacity to do so, but sometimes understanding some of the business formulas and thinking through like the funnels and stuff can be a little tricky. So this is how I would look at it, and then you can kind of crunch these numbers for yourself to determine if you think it's worth it. So I would take total website traffic, and let's say you get 3,000 visitors per month, and then look at the number of sales through your website. That's going to be, let's try these easy numbers. Let's say 30. And I should probably should have just made these numbers and then shot them over, but let's do, oops. Okay. Okay, so this would be conversions. So if you have 3,000 people per month visiting your website, you get 30 sales through your website specifically, your conversions are 1%. Like I said in the first video I sent you, e-commerce isn't like isn't the world that I operate in a ton, but I would imagine that these sort of numbers are probably fairly typical. Hopefully you have metrics and analytics on how many visitors you get, and hopefully you can know which sales come through Wix specifically. And so basically the idea is if improving your website can increase conversions from 1% to 1 to 2% more, that doubles the amount of sales that you're getting from your website, right? So if it was 30, then it becomes 60. If we increase this by 1%, it becomes 90. If we increase it by 2, hey, the dogs are crazy, as you know. And so then obviously you take your average revenue per order. Let's say on average people spend, let's say $45 per sale. So then we're going to do 45 times 30. It's $1,350. If we do 45 times 90, then on a monthly basis, if these were the right numbers, then you would increase your sales volume by, $2,700 per month if my website improvements improve your conversions to that extent. Now, the other thing that this doesn't take into consideration is if the website improves your traffic by 10, 20, 30, 40%. And over time, I wouldn't say that it'd be unrealistic for it to increase a lot more, especially given the site as it is right now. It's like not well structured and has a lot of room for improvements. And so considering you guys are already showing up for things right now, I think it could do really well with some improvements. And so then if you increase the website traffic by 50% or by 100%, and it becomes, let's say it doubles over the course of a month or two, then if you multiply the website visitors times increased conversions, all of a sudden this number doubles as well. So then it turns into $8,000 a month in sales. So that's kind of the idea. And then the other thing too is your website conversions right now, like how many people, average order volume, if you can get that up, if you can have good email campaigns that follow up with them, let's say 3 months after they purchase, because you guys know that that's about how long the product lasts, and they purchase again through that email campaign, then you know that on average, the customer's lifetime value, let's move this here so you can see it. The lifetime value isn't $45, it's actually $90, because they came back and purchased again the same products they purchased the first time. And if on average every customer keeps working with you for a year, for 2 years, or 6 months, or 3 months, then this $45 number can turn into hundreds of dollars. And so those are all of like the really big, these are like the big formulas that you want to look at for your business to understand, okay, and this is why business is hard, is that there's a lot of trial and error regarding, okay, we run these types of Facebook ads, which then the Facebook ad, we spend $50, and on average the checkout is $45. So we're losing $5 from our Facebook ads, but we know that the lifetime value of people from the Facebook ads is actually $90. So we could theoretically spend $80 and still make money on this user on Facebook ads, even if it's just $45. And so that's how you get a huge advantage over less business-minded competitors, because they're not willing to spend as much to acquire a customer because they don't understand the value of their customers long term. Now, this is a number that you have to figure out over time. You guys might have some semblance of an understanding of that, especially for specific niches of people who do work with you. Like if you know that like the pot farmers, for instance, they're ordering like hundreds of dollars of product, or like bigger farmers, and you're like, shoot, we could spend $1,000 trying to target local farms or whatever it is. And we know that we'd have a huge return on investment from that. So yeah, if you guys have these numbers, great. If you don't, then highly recommend figuring out how to start to get some of these analytics and tracking buyers' journeys. Because then the other thing with marketing is that you start to track like, okay, where was their first impression of us? Like they first landed on a video that Paul put on YouTube, and then they ended up binge watching all the YouTube videos, and then eventually they bought. And so then the YouTube like sold them over time. And so a lot of that stuff in marketing is really hard to track. It's hard to know where did they first find out about us. And it's hard to know when people are in the consideration stage. So there's awareness, people just even knowing who you are, there's consideration, and then there's decision. In the consideration phase, they're considering, is this a product I want to buy? They're looking at different options. The YouTube channel, the content, articles, things like that could be a big piece of that buyer's journey that helps improve conversions, but you don't really see that because you only saw that they purchased on the website, but you didn't know that they looked at all these other pages. So that's kind of a long rant, but hopefully this is super helpful from like a business finances perspective. And maybe there's some gold that you guys already have in the data that you have on your customers. Another thing with like the more advanced front end stuff that we could do, let me pause this video and pull up something I made for someone I might work with soon to show you. Okay, so when people are in the consideration stage, they're evaluating their options, they're being educated. The more that they're educated by you, the more likely they are to buy from you, and like just developing a brand, being trusted by them.
Here I show a website that is basically an article. It has the article title, has the YouTube embed, and then it has an AI input with like question options related to the article title. So if the article title is like, why should we buy or improve fertilizer, then like one of the questions underneath the AI prompt is, what is the cost of AI fertilizer, or like top 10 reasons for using worm fertilizer. And then click one instead of typing out the prompt. And then beneath that is the full article, and the AI chat is pulling from that article to answer questions that people put into it. That's basically what I show them.
Those sorts of things are like what's possible and part of like ideas that I have for the website and stuff. That would probably be further down the line to implement something like that. But again, you just kind of would have to start making content and seeing what content resonates with people and try to get a feel through the numbers and maybe your own intuition on this type of content. This is the type of stuff that these are the ways that our main customers are researching information. And so they'll buy from us if we provide it in, let's say, an AI format. So, or even having like an AI on the site that's trained on all of your articles, all of your information, all of your YouTube videos, everything, and your products. And then people can ask like, this is my garden setup. This is what I'm hoping to accomplish. What product should I buy? And it tells them, hey, you should buy the 1 gallon worm extract for, $38.99. And here's why. And then that helps convert and helps them in the decision stage. So anyways, that's a long rant. You guys might go through the numbers and be like, like this type of jump here is not like, our numbers are more like this, and our average ticket is 38. And so then the increase would go from 38 to, what is this, 38 times? Oh yeah, because this would be 1 to 2% increase on conversions would double it, and it'd be 20. And so then the ROI is like a few $100s right now. So it doesn't make sense right now. But if you're like, okay, we're really diving into this, we think that our website traffic could go up to 1,000 or whatever. Yeah, it's a lot of things to figure out. So yeah, so take a look at your own numbers. Let me know if this made sense, if you have any questions about it. And if it makes sense for you guys, great. If not, these formulas should help you figure out like, okay, we need to start tracking these numbers, or this is the sales channel we need to push into more, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's kind of the gist. And if you guys notice, you start tracking, like you start adding UTM parameters to links in your YouTube video descriptions, and you're like, wow, like 90% of our purchases on our Wix site come from YouTube, then you just like, people are getting educated on your YouTube, and they can just go to your website and purchase, so that you don't even need to revamp the website as a whole. You just make it easier for them to buy. So I don't know, there's so many things that you could do. Figuring that stuff out usually takes a little bit of a creative mind, someone with marketing understanding and an analytical mind, someone who can dive into the numbers. So yeah, sorry, this is longer than I thought, but this is like the world that I live in, and I just love these sorts of things. So if you guys want to hop on a call, do a Zoom video, and go through everything, go through your numbers with me, I'm happy to do that. I think I may have mentioned this to Angela, but I started a YouTube recently, and I would love to do a video helping a business like yours go through this sort of thing. And it's in a totally different niche, so I don't think anyone in your world would really be interested in watching it or stumble across it. So if you're willing to show the numbers and go through something like this online, that could be the kind of a win-win for us to jump through it together and have that conversation. And I think it'd be super fun. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Again, I don't really know where you guys are at so far as how well you know your analytics and how much in like the business world or things like that. If you guys are more analytical or if you're more creative, Paul, I would imagine you are someone who's very analytical so far as, you did all the research to get this product to where it's at. So I'm sure you're probably dialed in on some of this stuff, but business is like this weird, super niche field with all sorts of things. So you also could have never heard of this stuff, and I have no idea. So anyways, that is all. Let me know what you guys think, and we can go from here.
So that's the video. I'm legitimately not trying to sell them. They're a friend of mine, and I just want to help them out. And if there's a way that we can both mutually benefit from each other's services, or that they can benefit from my services, that would be awesome. And so that's kind of why I'm just like providing as much value as I can. Free value, because I would hate to do anything to my relationship with her and lead them astray. And so I want them to make as best decision as possible, as most informed decision as possible for them. I realized looking back at this video, I didn't directly address differences in ROI on the different packages that I explained to them, or different ways that I could help them. But I think this is just fine because they can probably hopefully imply, or maybe on another conversation I can explain that more. And then the other thing is, like, I've built everything that I talked about in the video. So the AI stuff, anything e-commerce, like I've built that stuff before, so I'm extremely confident that I can do it. Building it right now for another company in my software freelance journey, which is unrelated to this series. And then, yeah, so we'll see what they say, and go from there. But yeah, also didn't really dive into the difference between like gross revenue and net revenue, subtracting costs from the revenue for those things. It's just like, obviously that's a big detail, but I mentioned it in the email for when they calculate stuff, and maybe that's just like way over explaining and I didn't need to, but that is important, because I don't want them to calculate based off of revenue and then be like, whoa, this is huge. And I'm like, wait, but your profit margins are 60%. So this actually doesn't make sense. So I added that note in the email. Yeah, and I didn't plan out the video. I just shot it. And so that's kind of what happened. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully they're open to diving through their own personal numbers and going there. But just to keep you guys updated, actually I'm gonna throw this right here. I'm tired of holding it. To keep you guys updated, what I'm finding more and more with this channel, the people who are approaching me from this channel are people who are interested in me, and more so the combination of services that I kind of touched on in this video, in that I have a very analytical mind. I can dive into the numbers and I love that stuff. I have a creative mind, so I can think creatively about how can we implement AI, what sort of thumbnail should we use, what sort of designs, and then I just have general knowledge of business acumen and marketing, because I'm learning about this stuff all the time. As soon as I learn something, I'm like implementing it pretty quickly into my own things or someone who I work with or work for in a gig. And so that kind of seems to be the stuff that people are coming to me for. And so ironically, I created this series kind of just documenting the process of stuff, and I was like, man, I just don't know what offer I want to do, and it's starting to shape up more and more. It's almost like a fractional CMO of sorts. It's sort of like marketing strategy overall, and so yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I just love this stuff. So yeah, so that's all. Like, comment, subscribe. That's ridiculous.